I think it's important to differentiate between, the kind of scenario that I was talking about, which is essentially a deliberate kinetic escalation to a Russia-NATO conflict on the assumption that NATO is on the verge of intervening or in fact is intervening. And the scenario that you're alluding to, which I would call the sort of escalation spiral. So that, could get us to a kinetic conflict, but I think it would probably start non-kinetically. And frankly, we might already be on the verge of that. It would be very surprising to me if Russia did not retaliate for the sanctions in some way. And that could certainly begin with non-kinetic actions like cyber attacks. I mean, if a criminal ransomware gang can shut down this largest pipeline on the U.S. East Coast for almost a week last summer, I presume that the Russian state can do a whole lot worse. And, cyber is the means by which Russia can affect Western homelands in the same way that our sanctions have dramatically affected their homeland.
Yeah.
And then you could see things spiraling out of control from there because you can't really, we've seen that cyber attacks are hard to contain, and there might be retaliation against Russia, and then Russia might retaliate again. And then you could see how this could escalate out of control, given that everyone is on alert and looking to see if the other is going to take the first move. Just creates an environment that's ripe for that kind of tit-for-tat escalatory spiral. So that does worry me as well. And this is going to be a challenge, actually, for the long term, assuming there isn't, political change in Russia, which, like I said, I think in the short term is low probability. We've basically, and you can say perfectly justified, put Russia in a place where it has no stake in its relations with Western countries and increasingly little stake in the global economy. So doing damage to one or both is not as costly as it might have been, 2 weeks ago for Russia. And, as I said, in this sort of existential conflict, perceived existential conflict, the need to hit back might be irresistible. That kind of escalatory spiral is one that I think a lot of policymakers in Western governments are actively, contemplating, concerned about, and on the lookout for.